outside of World Quest, this will probably be the last time we play Genshin Impact, at least for this month. I'm not going to make that promise, actually. I still have a lot of things on my checklist to get done. In fact, we're doing something today that isn't on my checklist, which is the Furina Archon quest. I mean, I guess the Narsinkrutz's Ordo thing is on my checklist. We could do that today. But I want to get the Furina Archon quest out of the way, because once I have all of the main series quests done, I can start looking at the story teasers and whatnot they've been putting out, so I can do some of that React content. Because I feel like I'm missing out by not doing that. For someone who's usually so up-to-date, it's hard to believe that just missing 2 weeks when a big update hits is enough to put you so far behind. Another thing that's odd to think about is Genshin's story is now officially half over. Which means I haven't hit 100 episodes of streams yet for Genshin Impact, but it means that we're probably going to get close to 180 to 200 before the series ends. I'm guaranteed that there's going to be at least 4 more streams, possibly 6, just in content that from World Quests in Fontaine. So we'll probably hit episode 100. I don't know if we'll do anything special for stream 100, but it's coming up. We're rapidly approaching my 100th Genshin stream. Anyway, feel free to like the video on YouTube if you're watching this there, subscribe to the stream on Twitch, and follow us on Discord, because Discord is where you're going to get all the updates from me. I used to do Twitter, but I do not do Twitter anymore. Elon has ruined the platform, and it was not that great of a platform to begin with. I like this new daily login. It's going to make it easier to get billets from now on, because I have a cursed amount of luck. I have obtained 2 billets from like the 30x times I've fought the weekly bosses. I never have any luck with billets. I was trying to open my bag, but oh well. Anywho. Oh, my team's like all dead. Now that I have a way to get billets at a much more reliable rate, maybe I'll finally start upgrading some of the equipment my party has. Because one of the reasons my damage is not up to snuff One of the reasons my stuff hasn't really been up to snuff is because I pretty much have everyone using R1 weapons that are 4 stars. I don't have 5-star weapons on anybody, so that's cutting into the damage. Everyone's level 80 and not 90. That's cutting into damage. And I don't have the cracked artifacts that you'll see a lot of the people using that they have in a lot of other people's streams. You're not going to get 100% crit rate, 200% crit damage on this channel. Ho ho ho, no you will not. Alrighty. The Little Oceanid. To yesterday. Go to the Court of Fontaine's Adventurers Guild. Also, I guess I should cover this as well. There was a death that I didn't catch until I was editing today in yesterday's stream. I didn't catch it because Nervalet automatically regens you to full HP like the Raiden Shogun fight. So, I didn't really cross my mind, but I did die during the Narwhal. If I sound tired, it's because I am. I'm exhausted.
Hey, Catherine.
Between
it's
work,
us.
school, and this,
Got any
I'm
new
very
commissions?
drained.
Specifically one with a huge more attack, perhaps?
You didn't have to be so direct. The more lucrative, the better.
You know we're worth it. For quality work and speedy results, choose Paimon and the Traveler.
It's always a pleasure to see our two most avid adventurers again. Looking for the next challenge, I see. Actually, we do in fact have a rather urgent commission that is still open. Having read the details, however, I don't believe you'd consider it to be lucrative.
Don't worry about that. We were just kidding. So what's the situation?
To put it simply, the requester is looking for a temporary replacement actress for their musical. The original cast member ran into some issues, and is currently unable to perform the role.
Is this like something you should be asking the Adventurers Guild for?
But the troupe has also been experiencing some financial difficulties, so unfortunately they cannot afford to pay the replacement actress.
That does sound like a tricky situation. So basically they're looking for a volunteer?
That's right. Our adventurers reached out to many actresses, but none of them were willing to take the job.
So we're needing an actress that wants to work for the exposure. Yeah, good luck with that.
There are only a few days left until the performance. If they can't find someone in time, they'll probably have to postpone the show. And delays tend to create all sorts of new problems.
Got it. Oh, this one's a doozy. What do you think, Traveler? Any ideas?
While we know an actress that's currently out of work, that's got 500 years of professional experience.
Even if we took the commission, neither of us have any experience starring in musicals.
That's not true. We did so in the weird summer event with Klee.
If you're interested in helping, why not start by having a chat with the requester? He's right over there.
Okay.
Maybe you can't fill the role yourselves, but you might be able to help him figure out another solution. Maybe there's something he hasn't thought of.
Oh, it's that guy, huh? No wonder, he looks like he just ate a sour lemon.
I was hoping the requester would be that cool duelist-looking guy on the other side of us. Yeah, look at him. Look at him in that dashing red and gold outfit. Hey, let's go talk with him.
Paimon approved, let's go! Hello there, are you the guy looking for a new actress?
Wait, I know you two. Are you really willing to act in my musical?
You too? I mean, Paimon might. Traveler might.
Wow, sounds like we're pretty famous in Fontaine already. But to answer your question, neither of us have any experience in musicals.
Oh, it's
but
a
we
musical.
heard that you're in a bit of a bind, so we figured we could at least try to help you think of a solution.
Ah, I see. It's okay. I knew that asking for a volunteer was a long shot. If we can't find someone to step in, we'll have no choice but to cancel the show. It would be such a shame.
Can you cover the new budget for a new actress with ticket fees?
That's the thing. We're not some high-profile theater troupe, just a group of amateur enthusiasts. All our sets and props are very crude. We're grateful enough just to get an audience, never mind ticket fees. If we had a way to make this profitable, things might have turned out differently. But now, it looks inevitable that we'll disband.
Disband? You're splitting up the troupe?
Oh, I guess the lady at the Adventurers Guild didn't tell you? Yeah, this is supposed to be our final show together as a troupe.
Oh wow, what a bummer.
One last show. And after that, we go our separate ways. So we were really hoping to end on a high note.
Too bad we can't get those actors and actresses out of the Fortress of Meripede.
Nobody wants things to just fizzle out. Not after all the time and effort we've invested into it.
I wonder if there's an exchange rate between Mora and credit coupons.
Yeah, the leading lady, in fact. She's been dealing with a chronic illness ever since childhood, and unfortunately, it flared up again recently. It really drains all her energy, so she's in no state to perform. The show just won't be the same without her. But for everyone else's sake, I still hope we can find a way to hold the performance on schedule.
Got it! We have a clearer picture now. Let's see if we can come up with any ideas.
What if we have a magical way to cure the lead actress's illness?
What if we sponsored the show? Traveler, how much more are you carrying?
4 million or so mora. Why?
Please, there's no need to go that far. I wouldn't feel right asking such a huge favor. And I can't promise that we'd ever be able to pay you back.
Mora isn't the biggest problem. All I use it for is... What do I use it for? I guess, like, upgrading artifacts and weapons and talents. Do I literally use Mora on anything else? I guess I buy food ingredients every now and then. That's super dirt cheap. You make like 36k just doing daily commissions.
Good point. If the actress just goes through the motions for the Mora, that's not exactly rescuing the show. We should find someone who will put on the best performance possible. Oh, wait! What about... you know who?
I hope you don't mean Furina, because as much as I brought it up earlier, and I know that's the direction this story quest is going to be going, but nobody knows where the fuck she is.
That's how you know we're the best of partners. Anyway, she should have all the free time in the world right now. She's really good at performing, and she was once super popular with the crowd. Performing in a musical should be a piece of cake for her.
Who are you thinking of? Sounds like someone famous.
Furina.
Her? You're... That was a joke, right?
I wish.
Nope. Paimon doesn't actually know if she's performed on stage before, but Paimon's pretty confident that she'd be really good at it.
You're not wrong there. She has actually performed in a number of big-name shows before. They were one of the reasons she was so popular. But even if she's no longer the Hydro Archon, it's not like she's suddenly a commoner. She's still an idol to many people in Fontaine, including myself. I just think Lady Furina might feel a bit out of place in an amateur troupe like ours.
Ah, so it's that lowbrow. Got it. So she might not be above being in a musical like this, but it is a little lowbrow. And also, she's probably going through a lot of internal trauma right now. I wonder where her headspace is at, to be honest. Are you prepared to do whatever it takes?
Well, yes, but... Huh. Fair enough. I mean, if she was actually willing to, then of course I'd be honored to have Lady Furina star in our show. I'm sure the rest of the troupe would be delighted too. I'm sure everyone in our troupe has probably dreamt of performing on stage with her one day. Of course, it all depends on whether she's interested. She might consider this opportunity beneath her.
No point in stressing about that. We'll only know if we ask her. And besides, things are different now. There's no reason for her to be all high and mighty anymore.
Let's go. It'll be good to check in on her anyway.
Thank you for your help. I guess I'll just stay here and wait for the good news. Good luck.
Wait, where does Furina actually live nowadays? She used to live in luxury at the Palais Mermonia, but she's, moved out, right?
As it happens, I have her current address here. I can provide it to you.
Of course, the Adventurers Guild and its network of spies and informants know exactly where the previous Hydro Archon's domicile is.
Woo! When did you get here?
She was only like 10 feet to the left, Paimon.
I came over when things were starting to sound more promising. I thought I should be at the ready in case my assistance is needed.
Always appreciated, Catherine.
It is my duty to support commissioners in any way I can.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Well, now that we've got the address, we'll go find Furina. Back in a jiffy.
The little Oceanid.
I can't believe they're seriously asking Lady Furina. Seems a little over the top.
Try not to worry. May I pour you a glass of water?
There is an invisible wall. I can't become Dan of the Adventurers Guild. Oh well. Where is this newfound domicile at? That's just down the road from here. Court of Fontaine, highly dangerous. I mean, it's better than the place we're staying at that Navia's booking for us.
Did Catherine really give us the right address? She lives here?
I mean, it's a nice place. I just assumed she'd want to live off somewhere not near everybody else. I'd assume she'd want some alone time.
Not that there's anything wrong with this place. It's just, a bit of a step down from the Palais Marmonia.
You know, it's common courtesy to make sure the homeowner isn't in earshot when you're denigrating their abode.
Oof, you sound depressing.
Ah! Okay, when did Poppy Got a Thin Air become all the rage? First Catherine and now you?
I was just out on a shopping trip. I ran out of macaroni, so I went to grab a few more bags.
That reminds me, I have bags of macaroni as well that I have been sitting on for over a year because I have not had a lot of time to cook.
I used to have a much wider range of choices when it came to food. But now I'm finding that simple, traditional home cooking can be quite delicious too.
Don't you ever get sick of macaroni every day?
Not at all. As long as you have different kinds of sauces in, you can have macaroni and tomato sauce one week, macaroni and bolognese the next.
Yee. I get what you're saying. Variety is the spice of life.
Oh, sounds like you're really struggling to cope.
Is it because you have to do all your own cooking now?
How rude! Questioning my cooking skills. The audacity!
Hey, I'm just appreciative that you can cook. From what I hear, the Raiden Shogun can't.
It's not like I have a very eventful life these days. Actually, I barely leave the house. So I don't see how it's unusual that my meals are a little simpler now too.
Actually, speaking of the Raiden Shogun, I'm gonna let you all in on a little secret. I have a personal ranking of the Archons in my opinion, and even though Furina is not an Archon, I still rate her above the Raiden Shogun. She might actually take the number 2 slot. Because let's be honest, Zhongli doesn't do fuck. Venti doesn't do fuck. Raiden Shogun actively was nearly destroying her nation, so she does negative fuck. Furina made a big sacrifice for her entire country. I wouldn't say she's anywhere near as good as Nahida, but hey, 2nd place. Bravo, you've earned it. Even if you're kind of just a puppet being manipulated by Focalors, eh. Now, if I want to include previous Archons on the list, Ruka Devada probably takes the top. Maybe Raiden Mei. I want to give Zangeria some credit, but come on, you can't just leave that for your successor to handle. You should have handled that shit in your lifetime.
Besides, I'm sure I could master dishes like La Lettre Focalor or Blubber Profiteroles in no time, if I felt so inclined.
Would you like a teacher?
Ah, there it is. You don't know how to cook.
Not yet, maybe, but... Anyway, what are you even doing here? I do hope you didn't come here just to ogle at my fall from grace.
I mean, that's part of the reason I came here. I'm gonna sit on my high horse and be smug as much as I want. I appreciate that you faked being the Archon for 500 years to save its people, but you didn't have to be an ass about it. Yes, I know you struggled. But I'm gonna take some pleasure in a fall from grace, no matter how pathetic you are as a result.
Let me first be clear that I'm not taking guests at this time. So if you're just here to clown around, then please be on your way. Shoo!
What if I offer you a meal? Better than macaroni.
Sorry! We're sorry! Please don't be mad!
Paimon is just showing concern for your well-being.
Yeah, exactly! What the Traveler said! Paimon wasn't trying to make fun of you. Hang on a sec, you weren't exactly holding back either.
That's not important. We actually came to ask for your help.
My help? Well, maybe you're forgetting that I'm no longer the mighty Hydro Archon. I don't even have a vision, you know.
So you're human, you don't have a vision. So how does the player character version of you work, exactly? Oh, there's the blacksmith over there. Maybe that's why Paimon thinks this isn't the best side of town.
Don't worry, it's nothing that serious. It's just very specific, and you're the one with the power to help.
If not you, then no one. You're the only person for the job.
Oh? Well, if that's the case, then fine. I'll spare you the lecture about your attitude just now. So tell me, what specifically makes this matter so specific?
We need an actress.
I see. I knew you couldn't have come all this way just to amuse yourselves at my expense.
Don't give me that much credit. I am more than capable of coming over here to amuse myself at your expense.
After all, I was once the brightest star in all of Fontaine, well versed in all the various performing arts. A mere musical is well within my capabilities.
I'm aware.
But given the present circumstances, I'm afraid I must regretfully decline your casting request.
You got a reason, or you just want to... Why regretfully?
How come? It sounds like this would be a breeze for you.
True, but I have made a decision to retire from the stage.
You don't want to give a farewell performance?
Although I am no longer required to play the role of the Hydro Archon, the time I spent inhabiting that character has left an indelible mark on me.
An indelible mark? That is a word I have never seen used before.
Centuries of pretending to be a different person changes you completely. I'm not the same person I once was. Of course, that can't be undone now. It's too late, and I have no intention of reinventing myself all over again. But at least I can say that I no longer desire to play any new roles.
So that's how you really feel. Okay.
Paimon can understand,
I guess that she does have some trauma related to the stage. I'll give you that.
but this is just a one-off part to fill in for someone who's sick. Surely that's okay.
Whether it's a one-off or not, it's a boundary that I've committed to no longer cross. If I make an exception to the rule now, I'm just leaving a back door for myself, which would be the same as not having a boundary in the first place.
Yes, but is not having a boundary a bad thing?
So I'm not going to perform, and that is that.
Is it yourself?
Okay, guess there's no convincing you. Well, is there anything else we can do to help out the troupe? Otherwise, they'll just have to disband without any fanfare. Do you know any other actors who might be interested in the role?
That's right, you worked on the stage. You probably know plenty of actors.
Nope.
Short and to the point. Okay.
I've never been great at maintaining relationships. Besides, anyone I've ever worked with probably couldn't wait to get rid of me. Since I'm just an ordinary person now, they'll probably just laugh in my face if I go asking them for help.
You shouldn't assume the worst of people. What's wrong with making one exception?
True, but I mean, could you even blame them? I show up out of the blue, begging and groveling for their help with a show they won't even get paid for? Oh, no way. I'm dying from embarrassment just thinking about it. Nope, not happening.
Well, is there anything else we can do? This performance really means a lot to the guy we're working for.
Have I not made myself clear? You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't want this job, nor do I know of anyone else who would. Sorry. I didn't mean for that to sound so harsh. I wish I could help, really. But if I thought I had the answer to this problem, I would have said so by now.
It's all right, Furina. Paimon just wanted to make sure we tried everything. Oh, everyone in the troupe will be so disappointed.
Let's try to come up with a plan B.
Yeah, I guess that's all we can do now. Alright then, we'll see you around, Furina!
Toodaloo to you too. I'm going home to take a rest now.
Yeah, especially since we're going to be in Fontaine for the next 8 months, theoretically. Despite the fact that we're probably only going to spend, like, maybe 2 of them doing world quests. Whenever the 4.3 and 4.4 comes out, and maybe 4.5, 4.6, 4.7. We're going to do some chapter interludes that might take us to some weird Conrian ruins and hang out with Dainsleif.
It's too bad, but we have to respect Furina's decision. Maybe the thought of performing brings up too many painful memories now.
Alright. Oh, there's a third person here now.
Huh? What's going on? Are they arguing?
That's besides the point. I'll ask you again. Why did you start looking for a replacement without my consent? When did I tell you I'm going to take a step back?
You didn't need to say it. We've known each other for how long now? We know the signs. But you never tell us about your illness, even when it's clearly flaring up.
So this is the actress that they want to
And
arrest.
that gives you the right to make a decision on my behalf?
Shortly after you left, the troop's lead actress came to the Adventurers Guild. She believes that she's healthy enough to perform. Excuse me, but can you both take a moment to discuss something else for now? The adventurer assigned to your commission has returned.
Sorry, I was just dealing with a little misunderstanding. So, how did your conversation with Furina go?
Sadly, it's a no from her. We tried to persuade her, but she wasn't having it. She doesn't want to play the role for personal reasons.
I see. Well, circumstances have changed a little, so maybe that's not such bad news after all. You see, our leading lady has just informed me that she's well enough to make it to the show after all. Staging the musical with the full original cast was always the dream, of course.
Oh, right! Sounds like everything worked itself out then.
Imagine if we had convinced Furina to join, only for her to find out she's no longer needed.
Yeah, she'd be livid. We'd get the scolding of a lifetime.
Jeez, is Lady Furina really so harsh with people?
No, but she's definitely the kind of person that would get annoyed by that.
Only joking, calm down. So, guess we can consider this case closed now, huh? Despite the fact that we failed to complete the commission, we were still racking our brains for ideas on the way back here.
Look, there's no point arguing with you about this anymore. You've made yourself very clear, so I'll stop looking for a replacement. This is the last chance we have, though. If your illness flares up again, there won't be time to find anyone to replace you. So, are you absolutely sure you'll be able to handle it? The whole team is putting everything they have into this final performance. We have to make sure it goes ahead.
Yes, I'm completely confident. I've been taking a new medication from the doctor, and it's working brilliantly. I'll definitely be able to tough it out until the performance day. I share everyone's desire to commemorate all our years as a troupe with a proper farewell show. So the last thing I want is to be left out. Every one of us thinks of this troupe as their home, myself included.
Why are you disbanding then?
You're right. I'm sorry. I let myself get too worried about the show. I should have asked for your permission first.
I assumed you already did.
All's well that ends well. Sounds like the show will go on.
Paimon, wait here a second.
Sure.
Aha!
Hey, how did you... I was just passing by because I realized I forgot a couple of items on my shopping list.
Are we sure she's supposed to be a good actor? Because I don't think I was ever convinced that she was the Hydro Archon.
Alright, I'm coming. No need to drag me. Hello, one and all. I couldn't help but overhear your conversation just now.
For Furina? Didn't you say you were gonna take a rest at home? What are you doing here?
I was just ever so slightly concerned about the situation you mentioned. Yes, a teensy bit concerned, that's all. When you came to talk with me earlier, I jumped right to explaining my position and said some strongly worded things. And all before I even had a full grasp of the situation. Anyway, I just feel a bit bad about how it went down. I'm sorry, Paimon.
Oh, it's totally fine. Paimon didn't take any of that personally.
Then why didn't you just show yourself?
You really have a knack for asking the most uncomfortable questions, don't you?
Would you like me to put you on trial again?
I felt very sheepish, having had a change of heart after flatly refusing you. And then, to make matters worse, you caught me. But in any case, it sounds like the issue has already been resolved.
That being said, if I was standing in the same spot as Ether and and had access to moving the camera, I might have spotted her as well. Just look at that outfit. Does this not scream, "Look at me"? Anywho.
Yeah. When they said they were gonna ask for your help, I almost had a heart attack. I mean, how could we be worthy of having Lady Furina star in our show?
There's no need to think like that. And no need to keep addressing me as lady. Just Furina is fine. I was wondering, if this troupe is so important to all of you, why does it have to disband?
That is a good question. That was a question I had asked.
If the difficulties are purely financial, then there must be a solution. You could put the shows on pause while you look for a sponsor, for instance. Everyone seems so devoted to the troupe. I'm sure if you keep chipping away, you'll find a way through.
Yeah, I'm actually curious. Why are you in disbanding?
We all want to believe that, but some things are just beyond our control. Everything's been going downhill ever since we lost our director. She was the heart and soul of our troupe. She kept us going.
What happened to her?
Her name was O'Reilly, and she was the founder as well as the artistic director of our troupe. And tragically, she was a victim in the serial disappearances case.
Ah! Right. I thought the name sounded familiar.
What?
That's actually how I recognized these two. It was all thanks to their efforts that the true culprit was brought to justice. But still, no sentence can bring our director back to us.
Again, I was hoping this would get addressed. They're not exactly gone. They're just returned to a state of collective consciousness. We keep saying they're dead, but is that really death?
She was a loyal fan of your performances, Miss Furina. They were what first inspired her to get into musical theater. She rallied many people around her who were destitute or had lost their sense of purpose in life, and convinced them to join her troupe. She wrote her own scripts, acted on stage, and mentored each and every one of us. People loved our performances back then. We seemed to be going from strength to strength. Things were really looking up for us.
And then disaster struck.
Yeah. After that, the entire troupe fell into disarray.
So you need a new director is what you need.
None of us know anything about script writing, let alone how to handle the business side of things. We've been doing the best we can. But despite our efforts, things are slowly but surely falling apart. It's agonizing. But ultimately, we'd rather end things now on our own terms than stick it out to the bitter end and watch all our dreams turn to dust.
Oh.
That's so sad. Aether, do we want to talk to the Oceanid in the fountain again?
What a terrible waste. A gifted artist from humble beginnings who achieved so much and no doubt had much more to give. And then her life was so cruelly taken.
Yeah. Wonder how Marcel's feeling.
I suppose
Or
it's fair to
Vacher.
say then that this final show, besides being your farewell to the stage, is also your final gift for her?
Yes, exactly. We all miss her terribly.
Well, good thing I followed the traveler here. After hearing this tragic tale, I can no longer stand by and do nothing.
Change of heart indeed.
Furina.
They need a new director, huh?
I know what you're thinking, but I by no means plan to cross the boundary I've set for myself. Besides, they're no longer looking for a replacement anyway. I can, however, provide some artistic guidance from the vantage point of a highly experienced audience member. But only if you feel this is something that would help, of course.
Oh, most definitely. We'll take any guidance that you can give.
Okay. Do we want to talk to the Oceanid in the fucking fountain again?
We unfortunately don't have any budget for a consultant, though. Will that be a problem?
I don't need any compensation. All I'd ask in return, if you're willing, is that you tell me some more about the life and work of your late director.
Oh.
Something I've begun to realize since my departure from the opera Epicles is that there's a lot you don't see when you observe everything from on high.
Mm-hmm. And also, you definitely seem to take it personally how many people's lives were lost to the Primordial Sea.
The law only judges criminal behavior and does not weigh human emotion. The court's verdict can settle the question of criminal liability, but what about all the unresolved emotions of the parties involved? What happens to them?
A verdict can bring emotional catharsis. They come pouring out and flow away into infinity.
An interesting answer. But if you ask me, I think all emotion shall ultimately return home to the heart and slowly settle with the passage of time.
That's an interesting way of looking at it.
Take, par exemple, how this troupe pines for their late director. Things such as this I have never witnessed before, and so I should like to observe, perchance to understand.
Still a fan of your old dramatic monologues then, huh? You just want to get back in on the action, don't you?
I don't know about that, Paimon.
No. This is a completely different situation. Pearls before swine.
I hear that phrase all the time. Never bothered to learn what it means, and I ain't gonna bother now.
The name's not Swine, it's Paimon!
Pearls before swine was a turn of phrase, Paimon, not an insult at you. I am not entirely sure about that, but I'm competent enough to say that it wasn't.
Would you be willing to join me? Come on, take a break from adventuring to listen to a story.
Especially since it's related to the serial disappearances case.
Thank you all so much. Our director was a huge fan of Miss Furina's performances, as of course we all are. Alright, follow me. We'll go to our usual practice space. Please excuse the size. It's a little on the smaller side.
To yesterday. Where is it? Is this faster than wonky? I think it is. It always surprises me what buildings they let you go inside of. That being said, domains in the insides of buildings are magic in this game, because they have no sense of scale.
Huh? Lady Furina?
What's Lady Furina doing here?
Hello all. Allow me to explain. As of today, Miss Furina will be supporting our production of the Little Oceanid in the role of artistic consultant.
Did you have to say it like that?
These two over here are the ones that made it possible. They kindly reached out to Miss Furina on our behalf. I'm sure they need no introduction.
You bet! That was the trial of the century!
You helped bring our director's murderer to justice. We can't thank you enough.
Oh, please don't mention it. We're just here to join in on the fun.
So, you were saying, the Little Oceanid?
Yeah, that's the name of our final show. It's an unfinished script left behind by our director. One of our greatest regrets is that she never got to complete it. So, if we can bring it to the stage and make it a successful show, we can all take some solace in that.
Interesting.
Wait, but if it's not finished, then...
Finding an actress was the least of your problems.
Yeah, we've been battling issues on every front trying to realize this dream. Anyway, let me give you a quick summary of what the story's all about. The protagonist of the story is a young Oceanid who transforms herself into human form, despite the protests of her family. She longed to live just like any other human. And sure enough, she found friendship and even love. Everything seemed perfect.
This is reminding me of a certain event story involving poetry and water.
But one day, her true identity was exposed, and her world came crashing down around her.
You okay, Furina?
So far, so good. A classic tale. What happened after that?
That's one of the issues we've been trying to deal with. Unfortunately, this was as far as the director got with her script. We need a proper ending so we can bring this musical to the stage. But people have different opinions on which direction to take it in.
Should we go talk to the Oceanid in the fountain?
We still haven't decided between a happy ending or a true-to-life tragedy.
Oof. Okay, that's a decision I cannot help you with, because I am very biased.
By true to life, you mean the director's sudden disappearance?
Oh yeah, she gets murdered. That's how we'll end the story.
Yeah, like they say, truth is stranger than fiction. But then there's the question of whether we really want to use the stage to pass our raw pain onto the audience.
Exactly. A lot of the time, people come to watch a show just hoping for some light entertainment. We have to consider their emotional stake in this, not just our own. And one last thing. We're still waiting on confirmation from two of our main actors.
On top of all of that...
The first is Paulo, who plays the protagonist's lover. He's locked himself away to focus on writing an ending for the script. But the deadline's passed, and we still haven't heard from him. The other is Villemont, who plays the main antagonist. He took the director's death pretty hard. Hasn't set foot in the city since. He did write to us, promising that he'll be there for the final performance, but we haven't seen or heard from him since. So we're not really sure what to make of that.
Huh. Although, now that we have Miss Furina helping us, maybe we should take the opportunity to get everyone back together.
What opportunity? What do you mean?
Maybe you're unaware, but your name has always been like a rallying cry for us.
Of course it is.
Our director was constantly singing your praises. All of us look up to you as a role model.
Oh, that's right. He did tell us that already, but she's the first time she's hearing it.
Oh, stop. You're making me all flustered. Although, not in a bad way. I suspect the reason they're dragging their feet is that they have their doubts about whether the show will really go ahead, considering all the issues you've been facing. But one by one, all the obstacles are being removed. Now is the time to rally the troops.
Makes sense. Okay, priority number 1, let's check in with Paulo and see where he's at with the ending. He went back to Poisson a few days ago. Said that staying in a friend's home might help him to relax and escape the feeling of isolation.
Poisson? A few days ago, you say? Uh-oh.
I thought the last thing his friend would want right now would be to take visitors, given that Poisson was flooded not too long ago. But I guess it's the opposite. A friend in need and all that.
Yeah, maybe he could use some company.
Poisson.
Uh-oh. Something wrong? Duh! Are you two idiots?
Nothing. I suppose my presence will be indispensable if we are to restore his faith in the show. So, allons-y. To Poisson!
Allons-y. God, I haven't heard that phrase since the Doctor Who Magic the Gathering collab happened. To yesterday.
Pressure's on now. We gotta make sure we're fully prepared.
You're off to Poisson to find Paulo, right? Have a safe trip. We'll take care of the troop while you're gone.
Alright, we're a chunk of the way done. Whither should the water flow? Wait, why am I using the door? I should have just warped straight to Bazan. Alrighty. Let's do this. Alright. Oh, he's... I keep forgetting that little 2 dots means it's underground. It doesn't... I think it's supposed to be a down arrow, but it doesn't look like a down arrow when you're fully zoomed out. I wish you could make the icons bigger on the map for people who have reading problems, like me. You know how games like have colorblind settings, or like how you can make the icons on your desktop bigger? I wish that was a feature in a lot of other games. Things look a lot happier here since the last time we were here. They haven't fixed the bridge, though. Where are we going? Oh! He lives down here? At the water line? God, I'll tell you this much. After what happened in Fontaine, I don't think I'd ever want to hear the words beachfront property again.
If I remember correctly, this is where he's staying.
Who is it?
It's me. Is the script ready?
You came all the way here for that?
Alright. Forget that for now. Just come on out. We've got some great news.
Nice try. Look, just give me some time, okay? I'm just wrapping up this last part of the script. I'll be out once I'm done.
Okay then. Looking forward to your masterpiece.
So, as expected, he's missed the deadline.
The ending is one of the most important parts of the show.
I don't know, you can't rush art.
Even once he's done, it isn't final until we've all had the chance to read through and make sure we agree on it.
Someone told me they'd just seen you in Poisson. I assumed it was a case of mistaken identity, but sure enough, here you are. And Furina, too.
I was wondering if we might run into her.
I was wondering too, but I did not vocalize that thought.
So, you're here for Palo? Looks like he could be a while, so feel free to take a stroll around town in the meantime. I've made all the arrangements already.
Damn, you're such a great host.
Oh, it's okay. We can just wait here.
Thank you for being so considerate, Miss Navia. That sounds wonderful. We'll take that stroll. Get over here, you! How oblivious are you?
Oh.
How are things in Poisson now? Any better?
Things are on the mend, but it's a slow process. Some people may never recover from the trauma they experienced.
It's not like it was your fault.
I'm sorry to hear that. I wish there was something I could do.
Please, must our conversations take such a depressing turn every time we meet?
God, I feel depressed whenever I think of Navia as well. She's lost literally everyone important to her in her life. In like just in the span of all of us getting to know her. She thought first her father, now her closest companions.
We all have painful memories, but we don't have to let them cloud everything we do. And if you're trying to make a new start, perhaps it's best if you don't bring up the past all the time.
Thank you for your words of comfort. You make a very good point. But for now, at least, I think I should stay with the way I'm feeling for a while longer.
Guilt is a powerful thing, but I personally don't think you are worthy of it.
It's okay. These things take time. Moving on from a painful experience is easier said than done. Which brings me to why I'm here. I thought you should probably know that not everyone here is ready to forgive and forget after the Hydro Archon's inaction in the face of catastrophe.
I feel like a big update in a public news story Charlotte, I think, would love to put a news story out about what the Hydro Archon was actually doing the whole time.
To avoid upsetting the peace, I told the townspeople that everyone here is a member of the theater troupe, and that you are just an actress playing the role of Furina.
Damn. No wonder we haven't been getting any eyes on us.
It's not a perfect solution, but hopefully it means you won't have to lie low while you're here.
That's so thoughtful of you, Navia.
Well, what do you expect? I am the courageous and considerate president of Spina di Rosula, after all. Like my father before me.
Like my father before me. God, I wish we got to meet her father. He sounds so cool.
Anyway, that was all. Look after her now.
Got it, Navia? Thank you.
Off we go then. Let's take a look up there. I don't have any friends that I can be frank and honest with, so maybe she's right. You're the closest thing to friends that I have.
Yeah, and to think, we gave her an opportunity to win out to that trial. If she had taken that out, the trial might not have happened, and the prophecy might have just been delayed indefinitely. For who knows how much longer. The whale still would have shown up and done something, though. I'm pretty sure. But the charade might have continued. That might have been the altercation to history.
I'm so grateful that Miss Navia was so understanding. To be perfectly honest, I didn't know if I was ready to meet her.
She understands the bigger picture. It's the people you should be worried about. Because it wasn't exactly your inaction. She might be more aware. Actually, I don't know how many people know about the secret that you were actually carrying. I don't know if we actually told anybody about that. I think we should make that public, and I feel like we should. It might make things a little bit more sympathetic to you.
It's always easiest to just run away from your problems. But that never fixes anything. You can't get around the obstacles without facing them.
So that's why you were nervous when they brought up Poisson.
Yeah. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared of coming back here. Still, I felt it was something I had to do. As I was saying before, I want to see for myself the things that I never could in the past. I'd be overjoyed if the people here could find it in their hearts to forgive me. But they're more likely to unleash a tirade of vitriol against me. Which, of course, I completely understand and accept.
I'm sure some people didn't buy Navia's lie.
Yeah, I can tell people are watching me. I'm sure some people here see the idea of someone coming to Poisson dressed as the Hydro Archon as extremely disrespectful. I used to be terrified of the gaze of other people, especially when they had suspicion or resentment in their eyes. I guess I wasn't quite ready for this after all.
I'm not surprised you're making yourself go through all of this.
Maybe you've taken on a bit too much in one go.
I can't let myself see only the things I want to see. How would that make me any different from before?
Look! There seems to be a crowd gathering over there.
They're not staying quiet either.
Probably time we made a move. How about we check out Spina di Rosula's ship? We should have a view of the whole of Poisson from there.
Sounds like a plan. All the people are gone. They didn't want to render them in, I guess, outside of that little cutscene. Oop. Hello, Reggae. There we go. All the way to the top.
I'm sorry. You probably just wanted a relaxing stroll. And here I am dumping all this heavy stuff on you.
We don't mind. It's actually refreshing to see a different side of you.
I was looking forward to getting to see what was behind the facade.
Great. Well, I appreciate your company, so please don't disappear just yet. I don't know whether you can tell, but the years of suffering and loneliness aren't the only reason I have a hard time facing up to who I used to be. As I stand here by the ship, I can't get the images of the rising water out of my mind. One after another, people were taken by the water. All those treasured lives and memories washed out of existence in an instant.
They're not gone, and people keep acting like that. We know they turned back into Oceanids.
They thought their god would protect them. They had absolute faith that when disaster struck, a divine power would save them from harm. And all the while, I played my part to perfection to convince them that was true.
Imagine if she'd just been outright and just said, by the way, the prophecy will happen and there's nothing I can do about it. Or anyone can do about it. Imagine if she was just honest about that and then kept the whole Archon charade going. There are a lot of ways the Archon quest could have played out.
But then the floodwaters finally came. And the Hydro Archon did nothing.
You shouldn't look at it like that. You're only doing your duty.
Don't be so harsh on yourself.
I've had to go through so many moments like that for the sake of protecting the truth. As time went on, it got harder and harder to bear, and I became more lonely and isolated. Eventually, I realized I had nothing left except the truth. I became terrified of completely failing in my task, and was haunted by the thought of being left all alone, weeping on my throne. Fortunately, we were able to avoid the worst-case scenario thanks to the help of heroic individuals such as yourselves.
We didn't really do all that much, to be honest. This is all Focalor's big brain, 5th level chess plan. But and based off of what we learned in that trial that we put you on, you would not have been alone weeping on your throne. I think if not for the actions of Focalor's, you would have dissolved with everyone else, which I think is a much worse case scenario.
Everyone rose to their responsibilities, and I finally regained my freedom. But on some level, freedom also means no longer being needed. I have no further use to people.
Paimon would have never imagined you'd see it that way.
I saw it that way. I'm impressed she sees it that way. Think of your freedom as your reward.
A reward?
Because now you can finally speak your heart. You don't have to be anguished and alone anymore.
I guess so. And back then, I didn't even dare to dream about having someone to confide in. I was scared of someone recognizing me for who I truly was, and exposing the secret I swore to protect. Believe in the Furina you see on stage. She is the one you can trust. I had to keep all my feelings, all my curiosity about life to myself. No one could be allowed to know. That's what I really meant when I said I'm no good at maintaining relationships.
I figured.
So that's where you were coming from. Paimon totally thought you were just a bit of a diva at heart.
Could you please get off my case? I don't know what's gotten into you today. I'm making an effort here. You could at least try to do the same.
I am, but unfortunately, the surrogate that I can communicate with you through being Aether and Paimon are not me in real life, sadly. As amazing as that would be. What Paimon meant to say was she didn't like to see you so down. You feel better having gotten that all off your chest?
I do. I once had nothing but the truth, and now I'm finally free to live my own life again. And even though I have no idea where I'm going right now...
I know where you're going. Macaroni every day.
At least the choice is in my hands.
Yes, macaroni with cheese, macaroni with ragu, macaroni with bolognese.
Alright, it's about time to head back. Paulo should have finished the ending by now.
Sure. Okay, let's head back and check it out.
Huzzah, wind glider.
Didn't you say you needed to watch what you eat? You're supposed to be cutting down on fried foods, not wolfing down copious quantities of fish and chips, you know?
Oh, I love fish and chips.
Come on. It's not every day we get to dine at Spina di Rosula's expense. Can you believe how generous she is? I'm not about to pass on free food.
I'm with Lawick on this one.
Anyway, my character doesn't need to be slim and good looking. That's your job.
Are you kidding me right now? It's not your character's health I'm worried about, it's yours. I've spent my whole life battling the effects of ill health, and it kills me to watch you willingly ruin yours by filling yourself up with junk all the time.
Oh no, looks like they're arguing again.
Is Fontaine just full of arguing couples? Is that the big takeaway I'm supposed to get?
We're back. Could you maybe put your differences aside for a moment?
Ah, you're back. We've been enjoying Spina di Rosula's VIP treatment in your stead. Paulo's nearly done. We shouldn't have to wait too much longer.
Great! So you were discussing your characters, right? We heard she's playing the Oceanid who turns into a human girl. What about you?
Me? I'm an Oceanid too.
He was originally supposed to take the form of a crane, but he outgrew that role. Well, the costume at least. So now he's playing the boar instead.
I should not be laughing at that. Wait, the boar instead. Uh-oh. I'm getting Anne from the Neusenkreuz Ordo flashbacks.
Sorry.
The boar's not a bad character, actually. He's the one who raises the little Oceanid, yes?
That's right. He has some pretty memorable lines too, like when he imparts some solemn words of wisdom to the little Oceanid. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Wait, that sounds kind of familiar.
Uh-oh.
It's the most important line in the whole script. I think it's a symbolic statement about our director's life and legacy. She kept quiet about all the trials and tribulations she faced in running our troupe, allowing us to devote ourselves fully to performing. It was only after she was gone that we realized how tough her job really was.
You mentioned earlier that the troupe is like your home.
Yeah. I was born with an incurable illness, and once my family found out it couldn't be treated, they decided they didn't want me anymore.
Uh-oh.
I spent some years taking whatever work I could find and trying to manage my illness with various medicines. But whenever I had a bad flare-up, I'd be lying in an alleyway for days at a time.
Yikes.
It was like that until the director found me one day. She told me I had a great voice and asked if I was interested in studying singing from her. I said yes. She took me under her wing, taught me to both sing and act, helped me find Mora for my meds, took care of me when my condition decided to flare up. I know it was all a huge burden on her.
She sounds like a really incredible person.
I would love to go talk to her again in the Fountain of Lucine.
She really was. She gave everything she had to her troupe and the people in it. All of us were so proud to call her our director. I was a lost child too when she found me. As the child of a murderer, my parents weren't around when I was little, so I got sent to an orphanage. The other kids were always picking fights with me. They'd say things like, "Come on, you must be pretty tough if you're the son of a murderer." It was just to taunt me, though. I was an easy target, and they knew it.
Whole lot of orphans in Fontaine. Or just a whole lot of orphans in Genshin in general.
One day, I got beaten up so bad that I just couldn't take it anymore. So I ran away. I lost all faith in humanity by that point. Thought the whole world was out to get me.
Let me guess. Fortunately, the next person you ran into was the director.
Yeah. For the first time in my life, I was somewhere I felt safe. And I promised myself I'd stay here until the day the group parted ways.
The day you hoped would never come. How times change.
Oh, you're finally done? Get your butt over here. There's someone I need to introduce you to. This is our new artistic consultant, Miss Furina.
Furina? The Furina? Oh my god, how did you manage to wrangle that?
Please, the honor is all mine. I was profoundly moved to hear about your troupe and your wonderful director. I just wanted to do something to help.
Same here.
Even so, this is just... Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I'll try to calm down. Now, where was I? Ah, yes, the script, of course. Let me give you a rundown of how the story unfolds in my version of the script. I'm sure you're already familiar with the beginning of the story. A little Oceanid decides she wants to become a human, against the wishes of her family. She finds love and friendship in the bustling city. But then, disaster strikes.
Uh-oh.
The people start to notice that all the fresh water in the surrounding area is slowly disappearing. The soil is becoming arid, plants and flowers are withering, and the people begin to panic.
Interesting. I like it. I like it.
The little Oceanid, Cleo, and her lover decide to do something about it, and investigate the truth of the matter together.
It's because there's no Oceanid in the lake or something?
In the end, they discover that all the waste and pollution created by humans over the years has caused the fresh water to flee the land, as if driven by a consciousness of its own.
Consciousness? You mean the water is sentient?
Water as a conscious entity. There's actually quite a few stories that explore this theme.
It's because there's some truth to that. Like, cough, cough, the Oceanids in the Fountain of Lucine. And I guess over here in Poisson, too.
Since the little Oceanid is a water spirit, she immediately understands how the water is feeling. She then tells her lover about her true identity, as well as the truth behind the crisis. Her lover accepts her for who she is, and works with her to find a way to bring the water back. However, unbeknownst to them, there were some people eavesdropping when she revealed her secret.
It couldn't be the suspicious man with the cane and hat behind them. There's no way he overheard their conversation.
The little Oceanid is accused of being directly responsible for driving the water away,
It's just
and
pretty
faces
quieter.
the greatest dilemma of her life.
And then?
In the end, she makes the brave decision to sacrifice herself to save her lover, and the rest of humanity.
Huh? But didn't they all treat Cleo like a villain? Why would she want to save them after that?
Well, she mainly wanted to save her lover, plus everyone who'd stood up for her.
Through her love for her human partner, she was able to find an even greater love. One that extended to all of humanity. Surely the biggest strength of Cleo's character.
There's actually something else that bothers me. You know the protagonist is supposed to represent the director, right? And she never had the chance to become a hero in our world. If we're serious about dedicating this show to her memory, we should make the ending as true to life as possible.
I feel like there's some true to life in that. She gave herself up so that you all could have a better life. So in a way, she kind of does have some parallels there.
What about if the little Oceanid is hounded to death by people who hate her, her lover makes sure her secret never gets out, and humanity continues down the path to extinction?
No, now that has less parallels and honestly kind of just kills the mood of the story, to be
That
honest.
sounds like too cruel of an ending to me. And perhaps a little irresponsible to present to the audience.
That ending would be a perfect mirror to Director Aureli's death. Both arbitrary and meaningless.
Ugh.
On the day when she went missing, Director O'Reilly had instructed us all, somewhat out of the blue, to leave the court of Fontaine and wait for her outside the city. We waited and waited at the rendezvous point, but she never came. By the time we returned to the city, she disappeared without a trace. We looked for her. The Gardamex looked for her, but she was nowhere to be found. Increasingly, all the signs seemed to point to her being the latest victim in the serial disappearances case.
The director was the kindest soul in the world. Yet she was senselessly sacrificed for the sake of a so-called experiment by someone who had nothing to do with her at all.
But doesn't the way she suddenly told you to leave the city suggest that maybe she had some sense of what was about to happen? It almost seems as if she was moving you to safety.
I concur.
I've been trying to follow up on that ever since, but all my efforts so far have turned up nothing. Villemont might know something, but he won't open up to me.
The guy who shut himself away?
Villemont? The one who's playing the role of the villain?
Yeah. He's been overwhelmed by grief. I think the director's death hit him hardest of all.
He probably does know something.
Grief? Guilt, more like. Also, I have a hard time imagining that anyone took it harder than me. Because, well, speaking of the play being true to life, I was deeply, madly in love with O'Reilly.
What? You kept that one quiet.
Keeping it quiet is one thing. I'm amazed you're revealing that now.
It's time to be upfront with you all. No more keeping secrets from each other. We'll never be able to agree on the ending if we can't be honest about how we feel. I did tell her how I felt once, but she turned me down pretty much straight away. She said that we were all like brothers and sisters to her, and she'd never considered us as potential romantic partners. Not that it came as a shock or anything. It was what I was expecting to hear. So I told her I'd always be there for the troupe, and I'd always be there for her. I said, maybe one day in the future, when everyone's settled into their own lives and on the up and up, and managing the troupe no longer required her constant attention, well, maybe then she could reconsider what she really wanted in her life.
The serial disappearances case is so horrific when you think about it. I'm glad that we're getting some more closure on it, because it was like 20 victims, right?
And now, that day will never come.
Or 20 years of victims.
Paulo. So if I'm the one writing this ending, then I'm gonna make sure it does right by O'Reilly. I won't let anyone get in the way of that.
I honestly feel like the ending you already wrote does her right very well.
In that case, you have to straighten things out with Villemont once and for all, face to face. We've all had our differences of opinion over the ending, but those two have never seen eye to eye on anything. One of them has to compromise if we're ever going to reach a final decision.
Well, if that's where we're at, looks like it's time to go visit Villemont.
He's outside of town, right?
Are you ready to face the truth?
Honestly, I'm slightly terrified. But for the sake of our final performance, I'll do whatever it takes. Funny you should ask, though. You really do get what I'm going through right now.
I certainly do. Come on, everyone. Allons-y!
Allons-y. This life, like a light, trickle of song. Hello, realistic-looking dog. He hangs out here?
This is tough going. Delphi, are you sure you can manage in your condition?
I could ask you the same question. Try to keep up.
Are we sure these two aren't dating?
roadblock.
Don't worry. We should all be fine with the traveler here. We don't need to take a detour. Wait, why are you all looking at me? You're not seriously expecting me to fight, are you?
We're just curious, that's all. I don't think anyone's ever seen Furina in a fight before.
Is she even capable?
Yeah, but don't you remember why? The Hydro Archon willingly gave up all her power so it could be converted into Indemnitium. Miss Furina said so herself.
Ah, the smug look on those faces over there.
Precisely. And I'm not even the Hydro Archon anymore, so all my power is gone anyway. As much as it pains me, unfortunately, I should just stay put. I'm more like a damsel in distress more than anything.
I wonder how true that is.
That sounded so smug. Ugh, secondhand embarrassment is unbearable.
Ah, c'est la vie.
C'est la vie indeed. Alas, I am forced to watch on helplessly as a more brave and seasoned adventurer than I swoops in to save the day.
That's it. Stroke my ego more. I deserve it.
Aw, too bad. I was so pumped to feast my eyes on fight mode Furina.
Sorry to leave all the heavy lifting to you.
Don't worry, piece of cake.
Alright.
Propagate!
No escape.
I have some combat to skip.
Cut to the
Let's do
chase.
some of this.
Come on, we can do it.
Let's just top off everyone's health.
Incoming.
Ah, I'm wet.
Scatter!
Don't blink.
There we go. Oh, there's more.
No one escapes my sights. Let the show begin. Hey, With sword comes shadow. Go, Baron Bunny! Let it rain.
I hate that the slimes jump so high.
No escape.
That's kind of annoying.
Incoming.
Bravo! Good show! You certainly live up to your reputation.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, the path is cleared now, so onwards and upwards.
Where are we going anyway? Oh, up there? Does this count? Oh, I wasn't expecting more combat up here.
Speed of light. Hey!
Propagate!
Nowhere to hide.
Scatter! Sa!
Incoming. Got lucky that time. Don't blink. Speed of light.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
That's everything. On to the next.
I kind of expected that would send me flying upwards, not back downwards. Oh well, at least there's a house up here, so it makes sense.
Vilma, are you there?
Oh, this is a tent.
Huh? Oh, it's you guys. Wait, what's Lady Furina doing here?
I can explain. We've been rounding up the whole troop. We now have everyone except you.
Alrighty.
So, you think knowing the truth about the director's disappearance will help you write an ending to the script that pleases everyone? I care just as much as everyone else about making the little Oceanid a success. That's why I wanted to wait until after the show. If I open this can of worms now, I just don't want to make things difficult between us. We're supposed to be a unit when we're on stage.
Vilma, avoiding the truth will not help anyone. Unless you mean to suggest that Aurelie's death had something to do with you.
I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, Vilma. I used to think that my love for Aurelie was a point of shame. I never brought it up to anyone. But now, I've made up my mind to put it all on the table. I'm prepared to face everything, to sacrifice everything for the sake of the show. The little Oceanid cannot be complete unless we do justice to Aurelie on an emotional level.
This is why people think of you as not being the smart one.
Oh, really?
As you all know already, the troupe was kept afloat not from ticket sales, but donations from the audience. Of course, that was nowhere near enough.
Marcel was a sponsor once, wasn't he?
We took on side jobs when we weren't performing, but even then, the troupe's financial situation was pretty dire. So, anyway, one day after a show, a merchant came to me and offered us a huge sponsorship. In return, we just had to provide the audience with their drinks during performances.
Oh, no.
It seemed like a win-win, so I said yes to it on the spot without consulting the director. It was only when the merchant came to deliver the goods that I realized the drink in question was
Synth.
Isn't that the drink peddled by the culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
I remember that it induces a state of euphoria, but can also cause significant harm to the body.
I freaked out when I saw the boxes. And I told the director everything right away. She was completely shocked as well. But she didn't reprimand me for making the decision without consulting her. Instead, she contacted the merchant and stated that the troupe could not agree to this collaboration. The merchant was furious, berated us for going back on our word, and threatened to sue us for damages. The amount was astronomical. There was no way we'd be able to pay.
And then?
I was going to sort it on my own, but the director stopped me. She said that this was an issue for the whole troupe, and it wasn't my fault. But things only got worse from there. The synth merchant just wouldn't let up, and then suddenly the director told us all to leave the city one day. I knew then that things must have reached a boiling point.
She went to confront the synth merchant.
I admit this whole thing was my mistake. I didn't dare to tell any of you the truth back then, and after the director disappeared, I was even more afraid to say anything.
You brought the director to the attention of the synth dealers. Your mistake gave them a motive to kidnap and murder her. Yeesh. Come on, Ether. You don't have to be that harsh about it.
Yeah, I got Aurelie killed. There, I said it. Happy now?
Hey, don't say that.
You traitor! You knew Aurelie was in danger. Why in God's name didn't you tell us? What do you mean you were afraid? This was a life and death situation. We could have saved her.
I don't think so. I don't think this is a lose-lose situation in my opinion.
How could you be so stupid?
Please, try not to get too worked up.
Yeah, listen to him. You need to stay calm.
Stay calm? How can I stay calm? This guy got Aurelie murdered. She was the love of my life! And he has the gall to try and high-road us, claiming that he kept his mouth shut for the sake of the show! How about taking some responsibility for what he's done?
I think he already has.
All I can say is I'm sorry. Truly. I wanted to apologize to everyone in the troupe, but that won't bring back the director. What good is my apology now? I'm just a coward who made an awful, terrible mistake that I can never take back. Beat me up if you want. Kill me if you prefer. It's what I deserve.
You do not deserve anything beyond what you have already done to yourself.
In my life. So I can meet the director and apologize to her in person.
Get out of my sight! Go! Get lost! I don't ever want to see your face again!
He already did. We're out in the fucking middle of nowhere.
That's enough! You've screamed and shouted at each other for long enough. Now pipe down, both of you! Can you stop conflating the show on stage with your real-life relationships in the troupe? You keep saying that you want to use this final performance to pay tribute to your director and celebrate her life. How can you do that if you're just using it as an excuse to vent your own emotions?
You're right.
I'm sorry.
On stage, the lead role is the focal point of the audience's attention. And you're all used to seeing the director as the heart of the troupe. But in her own life, her greatest desire wasn't to be the center of attention. I can tell how much she loved you all, and how much she loved the troupe. What she wanted was to build a warm home for all of her brothers and sisters. To shield you all from the storms that rage in the world outside. That's how you should remember her. And that's what you should be celebrating.
Wow, you're better at this than you actually even realize, Furina.
I understand why you're trying to make her the hero of the story, but isn't she your hero already? After everything she did for you?
Yeah.
So think hard about what that means. And then think again about what you hope to achieve by arguing with each other. If you really hate each other and can't reconcile your differences, then you could just call it quits now. Why bother with the final performance if the group is already fractured? But you can't bring yourself to do that, can you? You care too much about Director O'Reilly and the home she built you all to let go. What are you laughing at? I don't see what's so funny.
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that, for a moment there, it felt like our director was back with us again. If she'd seen Paulo and Vilmont at each other's throats like that, she would have scolded them exactly like you did, in that same stern voice.
Really? But she sounded like such a gentle person.
I'm sure most people who had any level of authority would have done the same.
Of course she was. Even her harshest lectures came from a place of kindness, and it showed. She really was a truly outstanding person.
I'm really glad we got to meet her.
What you said, it really puts everything into perspective.
I'm truly sorry. I really meant for this to be a genuine apology, but I ended up making it all about me and my self-pity.
It's all right. Let's save all this for after the performance.
So, the ending. What are we gonna do about it?
I think it's fine as is.
Clearly, everyone needs to take a step back for now and reflect on what really matters. When emotions are running high, things get lost in the fray. The end of the story needs to focus back on O'Reilly herself. She's the true star of the show.
Might actually be possible to find out more about her fate.
What do you mean?
The Traveler is right. You once investigated that underwater synth base and recovered items belonging to the victims. If you could find anything that O'Reilly left behind, perhaps we can get a better sense of what she went through in her final days.
You really think that's possible?
I think we can do more than that, personally.
I trust that nobody would object to the ending of the story being based on O'Reilly's true feelings.
No.
Well, we'll leave this in your capable hands.
Come, let's pay a visit to the Palais Mermonia. The rest of you, head back to the rehearsal location for now, and wait for our good news.
Alright. Palais Mormonia. God, the serial disappearances case feels like so long ago that we handled that. Are we gonna get to see Monsieur Neuvillette one more time? Wonder what this guy's deal is. Maybe I'll do his world quest someday. Oh, we're going up here?
You want to review some recovered items connected to victims of the serial disappearances case? But, that case has been closed for quite a while now.
Oh, I didn't know that Sadine was the one that managed this little office at the end.
Still, since you were the ones who discovered and submitted the evidence in the first place, you don't actually have to submit an application. Okay, please hold on. I'll have someone dig them out.
Alrighty, Aurelia's former belongings.
So, this is all Aurelie left behind. Just whatever she was carrying on her person, and this tattered old notebook.
Tattered notebook probably has a lot in it.
Hey! It's full of script lines! And sketches, too! Looks like they show where the different props should be placed on stage.
Let me take a look. Maybe there's something in here from after she was kidnapped. Aha! I found something. To whoever discovers this diary. Let's see. Looks like she kept a detailed record of her captor's actions. She even mentions the truth behind the experiments on dissolving young women. If we'd had the chance to examine this notebook carefully back then, it would have been a conclusive piece of evidence proving Vacher's guilt.
Vacher took so many lives. It's still so unthinkable how many victims he had.
I guess Aurelie must have written all of this down in the hope that her records would one day be of use to investigators.
Oops.
Wait. It cuts off.
Something wrong?
Her handwriting here gets patchier and more illegible by the line. She probably didn't have much strength left. Her final words are... I'll let you read them for yourselves.
Someone else was taken. That makes 6, or perhaps the 7th. Someone tried to escape yesterday but was caught. She hasn't been seen since. Was that yesterday? Maybe not. I've long since lost track of time. Sorry, I don't know if writing this is of any use, or how much longer I can do it for. I can already see my fate approaching, but what terrifies me even more is the thought of seeing others from the troop here. Have I truly protected them? Sorry, I'm so sorry I can write no more. Think I have a fever and my old stomach troubles have returned, but nobody has given me any medicine. I suppose I'm more fortunate than Cressy. The pain keeps her awake all night. Suppose they think that anything goes so long as the experimental subjects can be used up before they die. It's so damp here. I've given her my blanket. It's so cold, so cold. As long as the one persists, all the things will pass. There'll be a reward for hard work. I'd like to tell them such things, but who am I? I'm losing my grip. If anyone sees this, troop safe. I, them, important. Please farewell, apologize. Life, perform. Regret. Cleo. This page is an absolute mess. The writer's pen seems to have wandered its surface at random. Only some words can be made out, and barely at that. From this page onward, the diary stops, to be replaced with lyrics from musicals. Some are in the form of newspaper clippings. Others are handwritten with many crossings out and changes. It's apparent that the pages have been referenced often, and that this was a personal notebook of the artistic director Aurelie.
She was so terrified.
She watched the girl get dissolved right in front of her, and to wait for her own death in silence.
She may have been a mighty hero in the eyes of her troop, but at the end of the day, she was only human. I can't bear to think how painful and lonely her final days must have been.
I just assumed that they were fucking testing like the effects of different levels of water. I never paused to think that they might be keeping them alive for days on end.
Wait. This part on the last page sounds strangely familiar.
In the notebook, the lyrics continue, however, one page has not been torn out. Folded up and placed next to it is a blank page. At the bottom of the folded note are 2 new lines really as written, and the handwriting much more legible than before, but it seems that they took both great effort and great deal of time to write. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this what you truly want? That was the line from the play. Because I am an older sister to them. I love them.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this still what you want?
Isn't that the most important line in the little Oceanid?
Because I am an older sister to them.
Oh.
So she didn't regret her decision. Even as she sat in silence, waiting for death to come. I'm sure this is what the troop would have hoped to hear as well.
I wonder if we can talk to the Oceanid in the water.
She had their utmost trust, admiration, and love, and she truly deserved it. Let's go. It's time for them to learn Director O'Reilly's final thoughts.
Ugh. And I just had this sad feeling in the pit of my stomach. Alrighty, back to the troop. I kind of really feel like there should have been a little bit more thought put into the final Archon quest. It was good, don't get me wrong. It was really lengthy. And I feel like it was still drawn out at parts, which is just a problem with Genshin questlines in general. But personally, I still feel like we should have addressed some of the questions like the Oceanids in the water, the fact that it's technically undoing and reversing the process. Equating it to death just feels odd to me. It's still terrible, nonetheless. To reading through the notebooks, some were some lost words, some weep bitterly, and some grind their teeth and howl with rage. A long time passes before the group is able to calmly come together and finally make a decision.
She deserves a hero's farewell. If that's the only way to convey to the audience the courage and selflessness that she showed in the face of death, then it's a meaningful way to end the story.
Even in the last moments of her life, she was still leaving a trail for others to follow.
She did her best to protect as many people as possible, even if it meant sacrificing herself. We know what choice our little Oceanid would have made now. I don't think any more discussion is necessary. Well, Vilmont, if we put the past aside for now, do you think you can bring yourself to go ahead with the show?
I will channel all my regret and put it into my performance, to make this a show worthy of our director. I won't ask for your forgiveness, and you don't need to worry about my feelings. This final farewell show should be about Director O'Reilly and her alone.
Then it seems like we've reached a consensus. I have a feeling that this will turn out to be the most mesmerizing performance of your lives.
Really? How can you be so sure when you've never even seen them perform before?
Well, this is definitely going to be their best performance. I feel safe saying it, too.
Don't underestimate my experience. After watching a countless number of musicals, I've learned one important thing. If you want to move the audience with your music, you must fully commit and immerse yourself in your role. pouring all your emotion into your performance. And aren't human emotions love, hate, regret, and hope just the most mesmerizing things in this world? I don't believe anybody could be more committed to bringing this story to life on the stage than they are now.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Miss Furina. And thank you for supporting us through all this.
Then, let's not delay things any longer. We need to discuss the details of the ending and get it nailed down once and for all.
I think it was fine the first way you wrote it.
Actually, before that, I'd like to make a proposal. During the curtain call, please allow me to use the director's name instead of my own.
Huh?
Why?
But then...
After all, this role was originally meant to be played by the director. I'm just filling in for her. Besides, a role commemorating her life should be associated with her name.
Well, if you're sure you're okay with that, I have no objection to it.
It feels odd. A little bit disrespectful. But respectful in its own way. I'm not sure how I feel about that, to be honest.
Now we're talking like a serious acting troupe. Alright, I'll leave you to fine-tune your musical while I go and procure a stage.
Procure a stage?
Oh, it's okay. Our usual place doesn't need a reservation.
That place? Oh, don't be silly. For an extraordinary show, we need an extraordinary stage. By which I, of course, mean the Opera Epiclese.
Whoa.
Why?
What?
It's a small troupe. You don't need to go that far.
No. That's never going to work. It's far too fancy for the likes of us.
What are you afraid of? Surely you don't think that Aurelie's story is unworthy of the grandest stage in Fontaine.
I actually think it's a great idea, personally, because I'm hoping that the Oceanid and the Fountain can hear it from there.
No, that's not what I meant.
It is supposed to be your grand finale, right?
Go big or go home.
I have no problem with it then. How about the rest of you?
Go big or go home.
I'll take your silence as a yes. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. It really is a dream come true.
Well, then don't disappoint me. If you mess this up, it'll reflect poorly on me too. Come on, we'll need to get the go-ahead from Nerilette. I know just where to find him.
I do too. Alright, let's catch up with everybody. Elaine, you first. Nope, no dialogue? Okay. Barond? None?
Best of luck to you.
Okay.
First Miss Furina, now the Opera Epiclese? If only the director was still with us.
Hey, come on. There's no point in dwelling on that now.
We have work to do.
You're right. Now's not the time to get all melancholy.
Alright, Paolo.
During the final scene, maybe we should stop the music just before Cleo takes the stage?
Interesting thought. Where to? He's just gonna hang out outside the palace where the Palais Memoria? Okay.
Hey, look at that! Looks like I guessed right.
You were just guessing?
Okay, now I'm annoyed.
I knew you'd be here.
I'm here merely for a short break. It has been a while, Miss Furina. And you too, traveler in Paimon. What might I assist you with today?
I would like to book the Opera Epiclese for an event. You see...
Uh-huh.
I understand. The process for booking the Opera Epiclese is complex and can be somewhat cumbersome. But given that the request is coming from the three of you, I see no reason to make things unduly difficult. The story of the little Oceanid is most fascinating. I'm looking forward to seeing it performed on stage. I will say, however, that I am surprised to see your passion for the performing arts rekindled after all that has happened.
Huh? What do you mean? Do I look excited?
Yes. And this is the first time that I've seen you like this since your departure from deityhood.
At first, I just felt bad about rejecting them. So I wanted to learn a little bit more about their situation. But one thing led to another, and... well, here we are.
Progress.
In the past, we sat in our high chairs in the court, giving our opinions on isolated cases, all while knowing very little about the human stories behind each and every one. Maybe it's because I finally become an ordinary person and gained my freedom, but I've developed a great sense of curiosity about their lives.
I am truly delighted to see you find a new lease on life.
Me too.
Now that you've regained some confidence, have you had any thoughts regarding a return to the stage?
She has, and she said no, but that could change.
Why would you suddenly ask a question like that?
Because it's the obvious question to ask.
Well, if the little Oceanid turns out to be a great success, it will no doubt become a classic. Many theater companies are certain to add it to their repertoire. The experiences and decisions of the protagonist Cleo are all modeled after your own. Naturally, this makes you eminently suited to playing the leading role. It would truly be a shame if you did not take this opportunity to allow audiences to enjoy your outstanding acting talents once more.
Durley's totally gonna get sick again, and she's gonna have to fill in last minute, isn't she?
Haven't I already made myself clear? I won't act or perform in any role ever again. No exceptions. Nor do I think it is any great shame. There is no lack of fine actors or inspirational stories, either on or off the stage. This experience is a case in point. I feel like I've learned a lot, and it has already been well worth the price of admission. I must admit, though, I'm a little envious. They're quite fortunate to be able to bid farewell to their past in such a magnificent manner.
I see. Well, I'm glad to learn that you have found a role to play that you enjoy, be it on the stage or not. I sincerely hope the show will serve as the grandest of finales. I will have my staff book the date and mail the relevant paperwork to the troupe once the details are confirmed.
Thanks, Nervalect.
You are very welcome.
It also feels nice, just like a little bit of a send-off as an apology for what happened in the case of disappearing people, or whatever it was
Many
called.
people
Serial
were once
disappearance
enthralled
case.
by Lady Furina's performances, myself included. I hope that one day she'll be able to understand that our appreciation was always sincere.
Shiny. Alright, back to the rehearsal location. It's this way, right? So many fountains.
Let's dance.
Alrighty. So let's see. On the list of things that I've enjoyed so far, I feel like this has been a really great character development. However, I feel like Furina's expansion to her story will probably get covered and probably more thoroughly in the 3.3 Archon quest whenever we get that. Because there's definitely going to be an interlude chapter or two before we actually leave Fontaine. Because we went, like, at least all the way till we get to, like, 4.7, right?
Good news, everyone. It's done. The opera Epilogue is booked. Thanks to my eloquent and impassioned speech, Monsieur Neuvillette was moved to provide us with a fitting stage for this special performance. We've had to fight every step of the way for this opportunity, but we now have all of the ingredients necessary to stage a truly spectacular performance. A touching story, a magnificent venue, and last but not least, a passionate and dedicated cast. Now, let's work together and make this show the best it can be.
This is truly wonderful.
The sooner we can finalize the ending, the more time we'll have to rehearse.
I still think the ending is fine.
Fiamali and I just went over some parts of the script and tweaked a few things. I think it's really going to resonate with the audience now.
Wow, you two had a constructive conversation? That's great!
I like that that's the part that impressed Paimon.
Communication is vital to any good performance.
Look at us. We've come so far. I never could have pictured this scene a few days ago.
It's amazing! Even though Furina's still being a bit of a drama queen about it all, she's really fired everyone up!
I'm looking forward to the final production.
Please feel free to give us any comments or suggestions you have. We really value your input.
Hey, Loic, get over here. Time to practice the opening number.
Oh, that's right, this is a musical. I completely forgot this is a musical. Look at Mr. Pouty over there in the chair. Oh, that's the costume. I almost didn't recognize her. Ah, so that's the villain outfit? Nice. Paimon looks confused.
Cursed Cleo. She stole the waters of life from us. She's a fraud, and she must pay for her crimes.
Oh, this is great.
This has nothing to do with her. The ignorance and hatred of our people is to blame. How can we hope to win back the water's favor if we don't change our ways?
This guy could be useful. Take him hostage. If Cleo wants him back, she'll have to show herself.
Leave this place, oh little Oceanid, and never, ever look back!
That's a really cool fountain. I like the tarps that look like the water flowing off it. That's really creative. You okay?
Everyone's really throwing themselves into their roles. I haven't seen such a fine performance in a long time. If only...
What should we do? It's almost time for her to take the stage!
Why does it have to be now?
I hate being right.
Hey, what's going on? You're due on stage any second now. Oh no, not again. But why? What about your new meds? Did they stop working?
They've been getting less and less effective over time. I've had to keep increasing my dose.
What? I thought they cure it. So they were only managing your symptoms?
I figured whatever it took to get me through this final performance.
How could you do this to yourself? And after that lecture you gave me about not looking after my health.
I'm sorry. I've let everyone down.
You... This is a conversation for another time. How can the show go on without its star performer?
We're pretty late into the production. Has she not been on stage at least once?
Miss Furina, I'd like to make a request of you.
No. Well, I guess I was right. Here we go.
Say no more. If you're sick, you need to rest. I know what you're going to ask. Loic, your character has no more scenes, correct?
Oh, yeah. I think my scenes are all done. Although, I do have one more line. But I guess another guy in the troupe with a similar voice register could take it. Why?
Please take Delphi back to her place to rest. I'll sing the finale. From the sublime to the ridiculous. After all that, everything's come full circle.
I think I feel a song coming on.
Thank you, Miss Furina. I'm so sorry to put you in this position after everything you said.
Never mind. What's done is done. It's really my own fault for getting in too deep. No one likes regrets, myself included. Leave it to me. I've watched you rehearse so many times that I've learned Cleo's part by heart.
I do not doubt your acting skills, but please allow me to ask just one more question. After all, this show is dedicated to the life and legacy of our director. What, in your opinion, is the reason Cleo shines so brightly.
It's her pure heart. Despite all the pain and loneliness she had to endure, she never once stopped believing in the beauty in this world.
Now you're just speaking from your own heart.
Well said. I leave Director O'Reilly in your hands.
Cutscene? Not even a costume change? Oh, we're in slow-mo. Putting the controller down for now, I guess.
Is she here yet?
Let's get here!
She's not coming!
You're wrong. She's here.
Ooh, I like this art direction.
Si je pouvais vivre dans l'eau, le monde serait-il plus beau?
That's pretty good.
L'eau dans son courant fait danser nos vies et la cité elle nourrit.
It's really soft and morning.
Toi mon doux amour.
But what about your wish?
My wish.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Big sis, come on. Ooh, wow, this is pretty amazing. Man, I haven't had to experience this since we did the, what was it, the racing of the, Jade Chamber questline. That was something different back then. Man, they pulled out all the stops for this.
Et ça ne changera jamais, jamais.
Is that a vision? Kind of wish we just got to see the entire play, but gladly that would probably make this entire questline 2 hours longer than it needed to be. The sea captain!
Is it just me? Or was that Lady Furina on the stage just now?
She hasn't been seen for a while now, and she just appears out of nowhere? Gotta say, though, her acting skills are as superb as ever.
The little Oceanid, Cleo, played by Aurélie Fumont.
Wait, that's not her name. What's going on?
I don't know. Maybe it's just a doppelganger.
I've spent a lot of time out of the spotlight, and they didn't use my name during the curtain call either. Hopefully, not too many people recognized me.
God, really? You're gonna go off of that?
It's too bad that I had to break the one clear rule I'd managed to make for myself, even if I had no choice. Still, I have to admit that.
Why are we up there?
Everything.
That's what I want to know. Did we actually play a part?
It felt good to be back on the stage again.
Finally, we would like to give a special thanks to our artistic consultant and event coordinator, Miss Furina.
And sell her short.
Hey, that's not what we agreed on.
Sucks to be you.
Oh, so it was Furina after all. She's back.
Honestly, what is he doing? He should have run that by me first.
An event
All
coordinator?
right, calm down. Don't be mad. This was a group decision. We just didn't want your contributions to go unacknowledged. After all, it's been the rule in Fontaine since ancient times that everyone's work, visible or invisible, is equally deserving of recognition.
What just happened? For whatever reason, the window minimized randomly for some reason right there. I don't know what just happened.
Yes, I know the rule, but...
That's never happened before.
It should still be applied on a case-by-case basis. I wasn't ready for this yet.
Oh, the ex-Archon of Justice is now finicky with the rules now?
It's no big deal. What's the worst that could happen?
At most, you might be asked to sign a few autographs later.
Oh, yeah? Well, since you think it's so easy, you can sign them for me.
Gladly.
This is a great chat and all, but can we talk about that crazy thing that happened during the show? It nearly gave Paimon a heart attack. Paimon flew over to where she was supposed to be and was about to drop the prop vision, and then suddenly, a real one popped out of thin air!
Oh.
Oh, that. I've got no idea what happened there either. But hey, it worked pretty well, didn't it? I'll bet the audience has never seen such a realistic prop.
Wait, what about Dolphy? I wonder how she's doing.
I hope she's okay.
Oh, let's go check on her as soon as we finish clearing the stage.
Yes. Plus, she'll definitely want to hear how the end of the show went. If nothing else, we can safely say that we accomplished what we set out to do.
So she ended up getting a vision out of that. Well, I guess that answers the question of why Furina's playable. Alright, back to the Court of Fontaine. The rat race continues. I hope many people get to experience this story without spoilers, because this is a fun and interesting storyline. And having something like it spoiled that like, Furina's human might ruin the entire plot twist of the Fontaine story arc. And it's one of the big weaknesses of having entire story arcs revolving around a plot twist. Especially if you're someone like me and you can kind of see it coming a mile away. And I'm not the only one either. Many people saw it coming.
Ah, you're back. She's doing okay. Her condition stabilized after taking some of her original medication. From experience, though, I'd say she still needs a few more days of rest.
How did the performance go? Was it a success? Did the audience like it?
You'll be glad to know it was fantastic! Also, you're not gonna believe what happened while Furina was on the stage. You'll probably be able to read all about it in the Steambird first thing tomorrow morning.
That's wonderful. I'm so sorry I failed to see it through to the end. I guess I was wrong to try and tough it out to begin with.
Don't worry about it. Like they told me after announcing my name during the curtain call, everyone's work deserves recognition. Even though you couldn't see it through to the final scene, the audience was very impressed by your performance. It's safe to say that you made your mark on this memorial show.
Well, one way or another, we did it. I've had bad luck ever since I was born, so I never expect things to go smoothly in life. I'm just happy to know that we went out on a high note. That's all that matters.
Yep. I wonder if we'll get a Furina Act 2 quest. People are still waiting on the Venti Act 2 quest.
Blaming your bad luck again, are we? Maybe if you didn't push yourself past your limits so much, your illness wouldn't be flaring up all the time.
Oh boy. Here we go with another lover's quarrel.
Oh, don't you start. I don't have the energy to argue with you right now.
Aw, you two clearly care a lot about each other.
I don't know what you're talking about.
God, this is a trend in Fontaine.
You mean we never stop arguing with each other?
So, any plans for the next step? After the brilliant performance you put on, the reputation of your troupe is sure to spread through Fontaine like wildfire. You won't have to disband if you don't want to. You could capitalize on the rave reviews and license out the little Oceanid to the bigger theater troupes out there. That would do wonders for your financial situation.
No, we should still disband.
Yeah, it's what we all agreed to.
After all that's happened, I should give you guys some space. But maybe our paths will cross again one day.
I feel bad for this guy a lot.
Hey, don't just walk off! Ugh.
I still want to keep performing, so I might join another troupe. After watching Miss Furina's performance, I think I'm starting to understand our director's infatuation with musicals.
You should do it. It suits you. I'd originally hoped to keep performing too, but I don't know if my health will allow me to.
Oh, so now you finally got your priorities in order. I guess I'll hold off until you've properly recovered as well.
Now I want an event where we could have Genshin and Furina interact with each other.
What about you, Miss Furina? Any future plans?
Well, frankly, I think a return to obscurity is no longer an option for me. I'm sure a slew of consultancy requests will hound me wherever I go, until I finally acquiesce. You rather sealed my fate there with your special thanks at the end of the show.
Sorry.
It's quite all right. No need to apologize. What I meant to say is that this whole experience has shown me that perhaps I'm not as averse to a return to the stage as I'd previously imagined. Maybe Nervilette was right. Maybe Cleo is the right role for me. I still don't wish to pretend to be someone else, but I do have a desire to express myself. So, maybe the show will go on for me after all.
There's no need to draw lines in the sand. Do whatever feels right to you.
Yeah. There was once a time when I was an actress in a masquerade, seeking only to hide the truth. But from now on, I want to spend my time learning real stories about real people and how they touch the lives of others around them. I want to watch them blossom and wither, see them refined on the page, retold on the stage, and remembered long into the future. I'm sure this is what captivated director O'Reilly as well.
I feel like this was a missed opportunity to have us go back to the Fontaine Lucine. I wonder if we could get an opinion.
Sounds like you're ready to stop running from your true calling. The more you get out into the world, the more you'll discover what a fascinating place it is.
Next time I'll invite you to join me.
Then it's a deal. If a vision is a gift from the gods, then I should do my best to honor it.
A little Oceanid.
I mean, of course I have some regrets, but
There'll be plenty of opportunities in the future for us to tell the stories that we want on stage.
Guide to Justice.
I'm just finishing packing up. As soon as I'm done, I've got an interview with the Steambird to get to. Thanks to all your help, this show was more perfect than we ever could have hoped for. But most of all, I want to thank you for giving me the chance to finally say farewell to O'Reilly.
I wonder if we'll be able to catch up with Vilmont. There's probably missable dialogue.
I feel ready to pass out.
Thank you so much. I feel like I've rekindled the passion I had when I first joined the troupe. It might turn out to be too little, too late for me. But still, this has been the experience of a lifetime.
It's ironic to think that in my whole time as a god, I could only ever dream of receiving this kind of power.
I think it's funny that because of the fact that she was probably assumed to be the Archon even by the Heavenly Principles, she was never probably in the running for a vision for even 500 years.
And now that the gods have given me their blessing, it actually feels more like I'm finally able to take my fate in my own hands. Is that how humans feel about it as well?
This makes it like only like the second or third time we've seen someone get a vision. And normally they reserve a vision dialogue thing. I wonder if hers will actually just be locked to this story quest. Alright, where's Vilmont? Where's Vilmont? We're gonna take a small little look for him. Let's go check out for his little hut. In case there's any secret missable dialogue over here. Well, the hut's not here anymore. He's just gone. That's so odd. Such an interesting character. I wonder if we'll cross paths with him again. One last hopeless journey. We make one more trip to the Fountain of Lucine. This has been a fun series of quests. I'm really happy that we got to spend as much time in Fontaine as we did. And we still have a few things on my checklist that we can cover up in later streams. I'm mostly expecting to not run into anybody here. So, yeah, this was basically just a loose hope. Until next time. Hopefully this will not be the last time we see ourselves in Fontaine having an adventure. Maybe there'll be a future Part 2 quest to this Furina quest line. There's definitely enough loose ends to where we could do an Act 2 Furina quest. There's also room to do a Chapter 2 of Nervalette. But next time we stream, we're going to do some stuff off my checklist. So we'll do Search in the Algae Sea next time, because I have that listed on my little checklist. And maybe we'll do the world quests in the court that I've been putting off for so long. And there is a quest line in the new area that's been added that I have also marked down on my little checklist. So stay tuned for future episodes. We're not going to end Genshin anytime soon. However, now that we're done with the bulk of the main story, we can start going back to streaming other games. So, ta-ta for now. See you all next time.